friends, Chad Turnbull with Novella Farm, and today I've got a video for you on our minerals, the goat minerals that we give and the supplements that we give. This is the last in a series of videos that we're doing on our feed program, so let's get into it. In our first video on our feed program, I mentioned that we had some issues when we first started with goats. The nutrition was not dialed in, our feed program wasn't where it needed to be, and we suffered some evidence of that. Our kids demonstrated some stunted growth. We had goats that weren't milking up to their genetic potential. We saw issues with their coat color. And I'm really convinced that as much as changing their feed and changing their hay and the way we gave hay, that actually the changes we made in minerals and supplementation had the biggest impact on their health. And it's often something that is the most overlooked or not given the amount of thought that it should be given. And so I think actually your minerals, the way you give goat mineral and the way that you supplement your goats can have a huge impact on the health and the production of your goats. So first up, the basics. One is it's important to know your area. This gives you a head start. You can know what your area is deficient in, what it's not deficient in. And that gives you a sense for what you're gonna likely need to supplement. Two is it's important to test. Tissue testing is best. But even the blood samples that you can send into some labs will give you more data, more information, and we've had some success with those as well. And then third, just don't give stuff for sheep. Goats and sheep are not the same, and so stay away from sheep products and you'll be pretty far ahead to start with. The first part of a really successful mineral and supplementation program is, well, minerals. Loose minerals is something that goats really need. It's essential. There are some issues that we have with the hay that we give, nitrogen content, all kinds of things, and they require us to supplement with minerals. We've tried a few different minerals. I did some research, I built a chart, and in the end, based on what we could get and what we thought was best, we went with Sweet Licks minerals. We use the Sweet Licks meat maker. We've been very happy with that. In order to give it, there are also a lot of fancy ways to give mineral and a lot of PVC pipe things. I've tried most all of them. In the end, I settled on just a dish that I won in a show, that we won in a goat show. And I just put a little bit in there each day. I put it out. Amazingly, they don't tend to poop in it, they don't step in it. And because we have so much humidity in Florida, only giving a little bit of mineral at a time keeps it from caking up. So of all the really great and interesting ways to give mineral, we've had the most success with just simply putting it in a dish. We also top dress. Now top dressing isn't as effective as putting it out free choice, but we use a couple of other things that we top dress. One is the ZenPro 4-plex. Did a lot of research, did some consulting with some experts, and found that there was some pretty great results by supplementing with the ZenPro 4-plex, particularly for some zinc deficiencies that we were having, but also from some other issues that we were seeing and improvements we thought we could make. And so we actually top dressed the feed with a little bit of ZenPro 4-plex each day. The Sweet Licks we found has a little bit of deficiency in the vitamin E, and so we source really through Amazon this Animed vitamin E powder, and I just simply top dress that over top of the feed. This does a really great job getting the coats really rich color, nice, slick coats, so much so that when we clip them for shows, even dark goats, they look great right after they're clipped. And then the final thing, besides the Sweet Licks, the ZenPro, and the Animed in terms of just daily, is this Command Probiotics. We just top dress a little bit of this probiotic onto their feed in the hopes that it helps with rumen function and general health. In addition to the daily minerals, the loose mineral and the top dressing, we also have a regular process for giving some additional supplements. And I should say we test pretty regularly so we can track and know what's going on. And that's an important thing to keep in mind because goats are deficient in different things depending on the region that you live in. And so for us, what we have found that works well is a regular regimen of giving both the copper bolus as well as the BOSI, the selenium shot. The copper and selenium work well together. We give those together. We started at once a year. We found that wasn't sufficient. And so now we give it twice and sometimes up to 3 times a year here in Florida where we're very deficient. This has really been beneficial to the fertility of the goats, as well as it's addressed many of the issues that we faced early on with kids. Floppy legs, droopy heads, all of that. The regular giving of copper and BOSI really solved that, and so we're big advocates for that. Oh, I should say that the BOSI requires a prescription, and so sometimes people try to skip that one, but don't. You have to have a vet to get the BOSI, but you need a vet anyways. A vet is important, and it's an important part of the health program for your goats, and so get a vet, and then get the vet to help you get the BOSI if you're deficient of that in your region. The other 2 things that we keep on hand and just use from time to time are one, this REPLAMIN gel. We don't give it as a regular protocol, but when we see that somebody is deficient or off, then we will just give this. I use these tubes because it's just really easy to click and administer. Then I also keep on hand the ProBios gel. Similarly, if I suspect somebody's rumen is off or they're dealing with some stomach digestion related issues, then I will give this and found that it works wonders. And so that's it in terms of the supplements. Now, let me tell you one other thing that's often overlooked, and that is your water. Water is a critical part of your nutrition program. That part is obvious. What may be less obvious is the way that the minerals in your water are interacting with your feed program. We're on a well here, and we have really hard water, lots of iron, and we have horrible sulfur, easy for me to say, sulfur that smells like rotten eggs if we don't filter it. And iron and sulfur can really bind with and interact with the minerals that goats need. And so we have to filter. We actually have a double filtration system. The ends of our hose are on our house filtration, and we like that. We have a 2-stage filter that takes out the iron and takes out the sulfur. And if you're on a well and you're experiencing some deficiencies, then it might be a good idea to get your water tested. If you're in a situation where you can't filter the water, they sell these horse hydrator filters. It's a charcoal filtration solution that really can help, and these are a good idea. You can buy these online. Minerals can be tricky to figure out. Supplements can be a pain to give, but in the end, we have found that it has made a huge difference in the health of our animals. As always, I remind you, go slowly. As you make changes, give your goats time to catch up, and then test along the way so that you can get your program dialed in and do good and not harm to your animals. That's it for this feed program series. I hope it's been helpful to you. If we met in person, I bet we'd be friends. And so feel free to reach out if you've got any questions, if you got ideas of things that would help us. We'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching. Of course, we'd love for you to subscribe if you're up for that. And I'll see you next time.